Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, almost live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LBJ, and you're listening to The Heartfelt Truth. Welcome. Let me start off by saying, as I always do, that I hope my voice finds you in good health, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Not necessarily in that order, but all equally important to help us through this thing we call life. And when you leave this podcast, if you didn't get anything from it, hell, you probably weren't listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm LBJ, and you're listening to The Heartfelt Truth. Welcome again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our show, I just want to mention one thing real quick. On my last podcast, I had an interview with a very fine person, an independent film director, short films. Her name was Jaylene Perez. And what happened is I might have made a mistake and said her name wrong. And I also referred to her as a Latino, and it should be Latina when you're referring to a female. So it was an honest mistake. Didn't mean to do it. I was kind of caught up in the interview. She had some real good information. She was sharing some of her life experiences and things that went on in her life and what led up to where she is today. Talked about her short film, Carmen, and really good stuff. So I made a phone call. I called her up and I apologized. And, obviously she said no big deal, but I just, I like my guests to be happy, satisfied, and, just enjoy the work that we put together. So it was kind of one of those things. It was an honest mistake. So I just wanted to put that out there. So anyway, listen, let's move forward. Two things on the show today. Number one, I got to share this with you. I last night inadvertently, is that the word, inadvertently? No, I unaware turned on these the Netflix TV channel. Is that what you call it? And I fell on this show with a young man who, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I did watch him when my kids were younger. He was the big star and the heartthrob in this series the young kids were watching, High School Musical. And I must admit, I watched them with the kids. They're young. You do the family thing. They were fun, and it was a whole lot of fun to watch. And I really enjoyed his character and his cast of cast members in the show. So what happened is Zac Efron, and the name of the show is Down to Earth. And I was like, okay, I'm not into, watching this guy. He's not, I'm like I said, I'm not a fan. I'm sure all the young girls were kind of really Google-eyeing about watching him on TV in this series. But let me tell you something. This young man blew me away. The interest that he had in the environment, in, the quality of life that we're experiencing here in the United States, and what he's experienced in his journey around the world, I was amazed. I just couldn't believe. I sat there and I couldn't turn the TV off. There's about, I believe, 8 to 10 episodes. I'm actually, I did half. I didn't want to, overkill, so I still have another half to finish. I just want to say, Zac Efron, you don't know me. You'll probably never meet me. But, dude, fabulous. I'm serious. I've seen some guys. I don't know if that's your forte or it's a side hustle, whatever the case may be. But when he went around with this other gentleman, the other gentleman's name is Darren Olean. I hope I'm saying that right. He, he's a wellness expert. And they went to these different places, and it was great. You get a chance, watch it. I'm not getting paid by anybody. I just like to share good information that is disseminated down to me, and I just want to pass it on to you fine people here and around the world. The show is absolutely fabulous. The first place he went to, let me just give an example. The first place they went to was Iceland. And Iceland obviously doesn't have a whole lot of forestry and all this kind of stuff, but they had, according to the show and information that I was receiving, they have about 10,000 waterfalls in that country. And during the course of that, they do all this renewable energy and waterfalls, and they generate electricity and turbines and the volcanoes. And it was amazing. I sat there and I was like, oh my God, I want to go to Iceland. I'm serious. I mean, just the quality of life. So now here's a funny thing real quick. We have this pandemic, and, I don't want to beat you over the head with that. We all know it's here, it's real, and I want to touch base on that a little later. But they did have some cases of the coronavirus. They did what they were told to do. The country itself, isolated, did what they had to do. They have not only flattened the curve, they've eliminated the coronavirus. They have no issue with the coronavirus. They're the first. They had a soccer game full, the stadium with people. They've done what they're supposed to do. Now, with that being said, again, they have these other little things in place. I mean, their diet and renewable energy, and I'm not doing it any justice. I'm just telling you, you got to watch it. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous show. And then the other one I watched, they move on. They're talking about different cultures and the quality of life and longevity and your health. And there's another part where something I've learned, which I've never known, there's a water sommelier. I'm like, what? A person who broke down the different elements of water, what we put in our bodies, what we drink every day. We are 60, 70% made of water. And the science behind water is amazing. What we put in our bodies is amazing. I learned that if you hear something that says purified water, stay away from it because it does you no good. You need minerals and nutrients and all that stuff in your water to help the body function better. I'm like, dude, it's like I was going to school. So I really enjoyed it. I know I'm big on this TV show, but it was amazing. If you get a chance, please watch it. Down to Earth, Zac Efron, and I'll say it again, his wellness expert was Darren Olian, and he has a book out, Superfood. It sounds like I'm doing a big promo, but so be it, because I like people to get and at least look into information that is important for their quality of life. So that was it. I just had a fantastic time watching that show. All right, so listen, if you get a chance, check it out. One last thing, I guess, before I let you guys go, and I don't want to be long-winded. You know what? I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to say it one more time. Yes, the pandemic is here. We're in the midst of this thing, and I've been watching the news. I told you I don't like myself to be a weatherman. I don't like myself to be a newscaster, but, these things are in front of our face. We have to live with the reality and at least kind of be, aware of current events and so forth and so on. I've been watching on the news that the doctors, the number one infectious disease doctor in the country has been saying, of course, Dr. Fauci, guys, if we really want to beat this thing and move forward and get back to some sense of normalcy, wear a mask. And I've seen on the news so many people arguing and fighting about wearing a mask as if someone is taking away their rights. And I'm like, what? If this thing is going to save your life and other people's lives, and yeah, okay, I'm going to throw it out there, your family's life, your children's lives, put the damn mask on. I've seen a guy screaming at a coworker. I see this woman yelling and screaming her rights are being violated. And she went into a supermarket and they wanted she couldn't come in, and she made a big deal. Sweetheart, let me tell you something. That supermarket is private property, just like your house is private property. And if you don't want anybody to walk in your house with their shoes, they have the option of taking their shoes off, spending some time with you, or not taking their shoes off, and I'll see you later. That's the way it goes. Now, in society, yeah, I get it. It's a matter of choice. But listen, if you really don't care about yourself and your family that much, then you know what? Damn it, don't wear the mask. Period. You're not going to listen to me. If you barely listen to some kind of podcast, and you go like, who is this guy anyway? But I'm telling you, if we just do the right thing, everybody's telling you this thing can be under control. I say eliminated. I'm not a doctor, but we can definitely get back to some sense of normalcy and do what we're supposed to do. I mean, if you're a parent, you tell your kids, don't play with fire. You're not going to tell your kid, hey, okay, it's your choice. You want to go there? Go ahead and play with it. You're going to get burnt. So, I know I do that with my family. I always just come up with these little analogies. But they're telling you, just put the mask on, and nobody wants to do it. I swear, I just say this. Do yourself a favor. If you have any kids, just think about your kids. Think about your parents, your grandparents. I don't know. And I go back to what we were talking before about the show Down to Earth and this young man when he went to Iceland and how the progress that they've had. And there's another country that was mentioned the progress that they were having. Now, nothing's perfect, but they're doing what they're told. Why is it so hard for us in America to sit back and say, hey, okay, I'm going to do what I'm told for the betterment of the country, the quality of life? Americans walk around with this halo like my rights, my rights. That's another whole conversation. That's another podcast. All right? But it just doesn't make sense because they have this sense of entitlement. Yes, it's a free country. Yes, we listen, come on. We know the rules. You got the Constitution. You got all this stuff. We know the rules. But we're talking about common sense, people. Here's the deal. Now, I sound like I'm getting aggravated. Here's the deal. If you don't want to improve your quality of life, if you don't want to be on this earth anymore, then you don't wear a mask. And you know what? When that happens, God forbid, think of your children. And I keep saying your children because people don't really pay attention until it affects them for real. And these people around here talking about, oh, it's not real. It's a political thing. Yeah, okay, well, tell that to the families that have people dying in a hospital who they can't even say goodbye to. So, I'm sorry. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I just went off on I don't know what that was. But it's passion, people. That's all I'm saying. It's passion. I'm running amok here and talking about this thing. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But anyway, I know there's. Listen, here's the deal. And I'm not a negative nanny. Here's the deal. I believe that the majority of people are good. Majority of people are smart, and they're going to do what they're told. It's those few people, and you can't say those people. You can't say this. You can't say there are a few people who will just not do what they're told. I mean, you've been to school. You live in society. There's people that just won't do what they're told. And then I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, and they're going to get what they get. That's the way it goes. Nobody's fault. All right, so anyway, let's get back. Let me try to calm down a little bit here. Here's what we're talking about. Number one, if you get a chance, please check out this young man, Zac Efron. The show is Down to Earth. It's on Netflix. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Give it a chance. Watch it. You really, it will make you think about the things you do right now for your quality of life and longevity. And so I'm telling you, I guarantee you. And I'm not being paid by anybody. This is not an advertisement. This is just me sitting around talking to my family, my friends, and telling you something that I just learned. And it will change your mind. I'm telling you. Trust me. It's changed mine. I went to the store the other day, and here I am. Most people are checking out the fruits, the tomatoes, everything. I'm looking at the water and in the plastic bottles. I'm like, whoop, nah, we don't need. Why do we have so much? We don't need that. That's what you need right there. And it was just amazing. So I guarantee you, it's going to make you think. It really will. And as the reputation that France has in terms of, the French, and the Americans, they don't get along. And you go there. Listen, let me tell you something. They're on top of their game. They got amazing water that is granted to everybody. Public access to good, clean, fresh, wholesome water. Right on the street. America, we're a world power. Let's get on board, people. If we're going to be leaders in this world and we're going to show people how to do things, then by golly, just do it. All right, that's it. I'm going to go on and on and on and on. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to me today. And as I always tell you, as I always say, take care of yourself. Take care of your families, because family is important. And if you see somebody that needs a helping hand, do yourself a favor. Stick your hand out if you can and try to help them, if you can. I believe this one thing really, really will make the world a better place. And it's going to be one of those things that help you on your journey to becoming the best person that you were meant to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm LBJ. You're there, and I'm here. And you've been listening to The Heartfelt Truth. Thank you. And we'll talk again. Thank you for listening to LBJ on The Heartfelt Truth. If you have any comments or any feedback, please reach out for me. My email address is lbjtheheartfelttruth@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to some of my previous podcasts, go to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and iHeartRadio. And as I always say, thank you, and we will talk again.